Okay, we might wait a couple minutes while people are all coming in, and then we'll get started. Okay, so let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Lily and I work within the Future Students Recruitment team here at University of Tasmania. Tonight we also have Charlotte helping us with our Q&A behind the scenes, and we've also got our ICT academics and Tanya Clark from international students who will introduce a little bit later on. So thank you all for joining us, and I'd like to remind you that this webinar is being recorded, and a recording, once it's finalised, will be sent to your emails that you registered with and also uploaded to our YouTube page. Okay. So I would firstly like to acknowledge the country I'm on tonight. Sorry, that's gone through. Understanding that everyone joining us is from all areas across Australia and the world, but where I am here in Tasmania, in Lutruwita, in Launceston, I'd like to acknowledge the Palawa and Pakana people of Lutruwita, the traditional owners of the land upon which we live and work. And I'd like to pay my respects to elders past and present as the knowledge holders and sharers. We honour their strong culture and knowledge is vital to the self-determination, well-being and resilience of their communities. We stand for a future that profoundly respects and acknowledges Aboriginal perspectives, culture, language and history. So what we're going to be covering today, a little bit about the University of Tasmania, and then we're going to, for the majority of tonight, talk about information and communication technologies, and then also a little bit about scholarships and applications towards the end of tonight. We will have a Q&A throughout the webinar. There'll be a little button down the bottom of your screen. If you do have any questions, please write them in the Q&A and we can answer them as we go. Sorry about that. Additionally, as we're going, at the end of the webinar, we will have a Q&A. If you need any answers verbally answered, we can get to those as well. So, University of Tasmania is a university for Tasmania. We have campuses across the state in Hobart, Launceston and Burnie, and also in Sydney in our Rozelle campus. And we are very passionate about the field work we do and the hands-on experiences we have in businesses and in our networks across the state as well. And a couple of statistics that we are really proud of as an institution is our above average satisfaction rate. So we have an 82% satisfaction rating for the teaching quality and engagement. This is compared to 80% nationally. And with our strong graduate outcomes, we have 82% full-time employment rate for undergraduate courses. So these are courses in our diplomas and bachelors, which we'll learn about a bit today. And then we have a 96% full-time employment rate for our postgraduate students. So those students completing masters or research degrees. We have a strong range of student support services, which we will talk about a little bit more later on. These are also academic, but also support for other aspects of life with personal or career guidance. There's always someone to help here at UTAS, and we'll touch later on this in the webinar. And lastly, something that UTAS takes very seriously is climate action. So for the last 3 years in 2023, 24 and 25, UTAS has ranked #1 in the world for climate action. And this statistic comes from the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings. And it looks at everything we do as a university. So including what we teach, how we teach it, the research that we do, and the environmental impact of our campuses. The University of Tasmania has a genuine commitment to sustainability, and this is something that is really at the centre of all we do and embedded through many of our courses, whether this be in major capacity or in elective units. So we're going to go on to the main part of our webinar. What you've all come here today is to talk about information and communication technology. Today, we have Professor Nicole Herbert, Head of School for ICT speaking, and we also have Dr. Meredith Castles helping us with some of our questions in the Q&A section. So I'd like to pass on to Professor Nicole to talk about ICT at UTAS.
Hello, everyone. As Lily just said there, my name is Nicole Herbert. I have been an academic, a teacher, a lecturer here at the University of Tasmania for over 25 years. I absolutely love my job. I am so incredibly pleased to see so many of you show up today. It looks like we've got students from all across the world who are coming to find out about what we're doing here in Tasmania, as well as I can see we've got some students who actually live here in Tasmania. So welcome to all of you. I'm going to start by talking about our bachelor's course. Now, a lot of what I'm going to say here is relevant to our other courses. So even if you're not here to hear about the bachelor's, please still listen because you might learn some things. Okay, so our bachelor's course, like most bachelor's courses, is 3 years full-time study. Now, you are welcome to study part-time, and you can take up to 7 years to complete the course part-time. That probably particularly relates to domestic students. Now, if you have done another course somewhere else, such as a bachelor's degree or a diploma somewhere else, then you might be able to get some advanced standing against that course. And what does that mean? Well, that means that you can make the course a little bit shorter. So if you have done some previous study, it's worthwhile investigating whether advanced standing is available to you. What does it take to get in? Well, what we really like you to have done is completed some qualification that is the equivalent of a Year 12 education in Australia. So normally if you've been in school for a long period of time, then you're probably qualified to enter into our bachelor's course. Now, if you do come from overseas, we do need a certain standard of English, and you can see the numbers that we have there on the screen. We do take lots of different English language evaluation packages. You will be able to find out more about that later on. Now, the important thing about all of our ICT courses is that you can start in semester 1, which is in February, or you can start in semester 2, which is in July. Our numbers are very evenly split, so there is no disadvantage whether you start in semester 1 or semester 2. The units just flow naturally through, so whatever good starting point for you. As Lily mentioned, we have campuses all across Tasmania, and ICT particularly is located in Hobart and Launceston. For our domestic students, you're welcome to also study online. And we also offer our ICT courses in both Melbourne and Sydney, though not the full courses, only part of the course. And I'll go into that a little bit more later. For our international students, the 2026 annual fee is listed there. And for our domestic students, it's important that you know that you can get the government HECS help to cover your costs as you're going through. Now, before we move on to the next slide, what I'm about to run through is why that fee or how we justify that fee. Our course here in Tasmania is is a top quality course, and so we offer a lot of features that you will find that places that have a lower fee don't offer. Thanks, Lily. Thank you. All right, so let's run through the structure, because this is the main thing that's different here to some of the other courses that you might find are a little bit cheaper. So we can basically break our bachelor's course into three different areas: a core, the major, and the electives. Now, the core consists of 8 subjects, and they cover the fundamental knowledge that you're going to need if you want to go and work out in the ICT industry. So it gives you skills like programming, networking, security, project management, everything that you need to know as a future professional ICT practitioner. But that's not enough. Okay. So if you've got an interest in technology, you know that there are lots of different fields. So we offer what are called majors. So we have 5 different areas where you can specialize. Now, each one of these areas leads to a different set of career outcomes depending on what you want to do when you graduate. Now, we've spent a lot of time working out what our majors will be, and we're really targeting areas where we know there is huge demand for people to work future in their careers. So obviously right at the top of that list is artificial intelligence, because that is like the fastest growing field right now. We also offer application web development, just your general software development. A lot of our graduates go straight out into a job in the development space. Probably the biggest employment field right now in IT is cybersecurity. So we offer a networks and cybersecurity major. We have I don't want to use the word small, but relatively in comparison to cybersecurity, we have a small, very dedicated group of staff and students that are really trying to grow the games industry here in Tasmania. So if you're interested in games, you'll find lots of potential there. And from next year, we are introducing our brand new Internet of Things major. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's, your smart devices, your robots, your drones, all those sorts of extra things that you see around the place that are controlled by computers. So any one of those majors is going to lead you towards a great career outcome. And then finally, we have an elective space, which is the final third of the course. Now, in this elective space, you can choose to do whatever you want to do. And the beauty of the University of Tasmania is that we have a lot of options for you there. If you want to, you can do a second major in ICT, but you don't have to. You could do a major in sustainability. You could do a major in business. You could just do a random set of subjects. You could pick up a diploma in anything else that you're interested in. A lot of students use this elective space to do a placement or an internship, and a lot of students use it to just explore other areas that they're interested in. When you go to some of the smaller universities that might cost a lot less, they don't have that opportunity available to you. They don't give you the breadth of subjects that we can offer here. Thanks, Lily. All right, so as we can see, we've got a lot of students here from all over the world. This little picture here shows you that we do take students from everywhere. So if when you come here, you'll find students probably from your home country. But if you don't, rest assured you're going to find lots of people that you can make friends with. We are very, very welcoming here. Thanks, Lily. Now, I mentioned before the career outcomes. So here in our bachelor's, you can see that we are aiming for a huge number of different career outcomes depending on which major you choose to do. There are lots of jobs across Australia in all of these areas, but you don't just have to get a job here in Australia. There are jobs in IT all across the world, But one of the things you might notice from this slide is that the average salary varies depending on where you want to spend your time in your future. But I urge you not to be governed by salary, but by what you find interesting and where your skill sets are. Thank you, Lily. All right, so that's what the information I want to give you on the bachelor's course. But I do want to just quickly mention two other undergraduate courses that we have available for our domestic listeners. So you might not be sure whether you want to do a full bachelor's course that takes 3 years. You might just want to dip your toe into what and just see what we have to offer. So the first thing you might want to look at is the undergraduate certificate. The undergraduate certificate will just take you 6 months full time to complete. Most people do the undergraduate certificate part time though, and you can do it part time for up to 2 years. It is simply 4 subjects. They're generally speaking like some of our entry-level subjects. If you do this, you can use those same 4 subjects into the diploma if you want to keep studying. All you have to have done is got your TCE to be able to get into the undergraduate certificate, or maybe you've actually had a huge amount of work life experience, or you've done something with a TAFE. Any of those things will get you into the undergraduate certificate. The really important thing about the undergraduate certificate is that it's HECS and service fee free. So you can tip your toe into the water to see whether you like it by doing the undergraduate certificate, and it doesn't cost you any money. All right. The diploma, on the other hand, is a 1-year full-time course, or again, you can do it part-time. This is 8 subjects. The entry is all of the same. And like the bachelor's, for the domestic students, HECS help is available. Thanks, Lily. All right, so now I would like to speak about the Masters, because I imagine many of you are here today to hear about our Master of Information Technology and Systems. You'll find a lot of the information I give is similar to what I said about the Bachelor's. So just pointing out some of the differences. The Master's course is 2 years full-time. As before, you can get advanced standing for up to half of one of those years if you've had a bachelor in an IT-related area. The entry does require you to have previously completed a bachelor's degree, and we do have English level standards that we need you to have achieved to be able to commence. Similar to the bachelor, you can start in February or July. The distribution is fairly even, so again, there's no disadvantage whether you start in February or July. We do offer our master's course in Hobart, and we offer some of it in Melbourne and some of it in Sydney. So we don't have the full program in Melbourne and Sydney, but we do have the full program available in Hobart. And the annual fee for international students is basically the same as our bachelor's course. But again, we have all those advantages that I've already spoken about. Thank you, Lily. So the MITS course, like the bachelor's, is divided really into 3 main spaces. We have the core, and similar to the bachelor's, that's providing you with fundamental programming and web development, some cybersecurity stuff, some project management stuff. But one of the best things about the core is you get to do a capstone project, which is a major project, and I will talk more about that very shortly. Like the bachelor's, we do have areas of specialisation because we want you to upskill towards a career outcome that is meaningful for you. So at the master's level, we offer cybersecurity, but please know that's only available in Hobart. We offer data analytics and artificial intelligence, which is available in Hobart, Melbourne, and Sydney. We offer software development that is, again, only available in Hobart. And we offer systems analysis, which is available in Hobart, Melbourne, and Sydney. Again, in the master's degree, we have this kind of options area where you can make some choices about what you would like to do. You can just, again, undertake a huge range of different units that you might want to do, or you might want to do an industry placement or internship. Or you might want to do a second specialisation so that you can really broaden your career outcomes. Thanks, Lily. Now, our master's course attracts students from even more countries than our bachelor's course did. So if you're coming here, I'm pretty sure you're going to find some people from your home country to help you settle in, and you'll find some of those people in the classroom with you as well. Thanks, Lily. Now, because the master's course is only 2 years, we do have a smaller set of career outcomes. But again, these are all career outcomes that are in high demand and are available to you as a graduate of our program. Thanks, Lily. All right, so those are the courses, but the really big thing about us is the student experience you're going to get if you come to the University of Tasmania. So now I would just like to talk you through some of the great experiences that we provide our students as you are studying. Thanks, Lily. So firstly, within our school, we have 23 permanent academic staff members. So many of the smaller places that you might be looking at don't have that breadth or depth of staff available to you all of the time. Many of our staff are national and international award-winning teaching staff. We guarantee to produce job-ready graduates so that when you graduate, you will be able to find an employment opportunity. One of the things that will be very, very important to you is that all of our courses are accredited by the Australian Computer Society. Now, why is that important? Well, it is very, very important because it means other people have looked at our course and they agree with us that we are producing professional standard graduates who will be able to find employment. Thanks, Lily. Now, you might think Tasmania, wow, it's just this island at the bottom of Australia, but we are the best island in Australia, and our university does have a whole bunch of traditional university facilities that you would expect to see. So we have those huge lecture theatres, we have extensive computer labs, we have quiet study spaces, we have kitchens where you can prepare food, we have libraries, we have a gym, lots of places where you can buy food. We offer all of those things. But when I ask the students, what do you most want us to provide? The big thing that they asked for was large green open spaces. You can look out the window and you can see the grass and you can see the trees and you can walk outside and you can have all of those things. Other universities do not have what Tasmania has to offer you in the environmental space. Thank you, Lily. So what are you going to do in the classroom? One of the common questions I get from students, what's a typical day like for a student? Well, it varies. It totally depends on which subject you've got on that day, when your classes are. So a typical subject will have about 4 hours per week where you spend some time in a computer lab. You might spend some time in a lecture theatre. You'll definitely spend time talking with other students in your class and doing interesting things. So our course is very hands-on, very practical, and very collaborative. You will not feel alone when you come to study here. You will find friends. Thanks, Lily. One of the greatest things about the University of Tasmania is we're actually the only university on our island. And that means that we are very, very connected with our local industry. So you will find that our local industry comes in and talks to you in the classroom. You'll get to go out there and visit industry. They will come and see some of the work that you're doing. You'll be very excited about putting it on display. So we have a whole range of opportunities available to you for industry engagement, and I'm just going to walk you through a couple. Thanks, Lily. So I mentioned this before. Every student, whether they're in the bachelor's or the master's, does a capstone project. So what's a capstone project, you ask? Well, it is a project that every student does in the very last semester of their course. You get in a team with maybe 6 or 7 of your fellow students, and you're doing a real project. We have an industry client, somebody who has asked for whatever the software is that you're going to develop. And you will work on that project for a whole semester. At the end of the semester, you will put your project on display, and a whole ton of people from the Tasmanian industry will come and have a look at what you've actually achieved. This is an opportunity for you to talk to them, and you can possibly even get employment out of that big showcase that we run at the end of your project time. Thanks, Lily. We are introducing opportunities for you to network with the local industry. So where we possibly can, we send you along to industry conferences or industry events that are happening around Tasmania. But because we know that you also want to explore some of the larger areas or more populated areas of Australia, we've recently started sending groups of students off to conferences that we have in Melbourne, so that you can see the full breadth of what's available across Australia. And then you can come back to Tasmania knowing that Tasmania is absolutely the best place to live and study. But you bring back your experiences and you get a chance to talk about them to your fellow students. Thanks, Lily. One of the reasons why I am so positive that we are offering you the best experience possible is that here at the University of Tasmania, we take students as partners very, very seriously. So what that basically means is we're constantly asking the students, are we giving you what you want? Is there anything that we could possibly improve? Is there something else that you would like to experience while you're studying here at Tasmania? So these pictures are all of are some examples of when we've got all of our student reps together and we're having discussions with them about the experiences that they would like to have. Thanks, Lily. One of the things that you might be worried about coming to university or here in Tasmania, or coming, especially if you're coming from a long distance, is will you fit in? Will you find any friends? Are you going to have any fun? Or is it just going to be work, work, work all of the time? We take establishing your sense of belonging and that feeling that you're part of our family very, very seriously. So we organise a lot of events so that you as students can find some friends early on. We have great social spaces where you can have some fun. You can see on that little picture there's no one there because I took this, 6 a.m. in the morning and students aren't awake at 6 a.m. But we've got lots of social spaces available for you to have fun, and we organise lots of events. Thanks, Lily. All right, so just running through all of the things that I have spoken to you about. Yes, you might have looked at that cost and thought, wow, I can find an education cheaper, but you're not going to find one that's better. Our price point is brilliant for what we actually offer. Again, we have an accredited course, so we're guaranteeing to produce professional qualified graduates who are going to be able to find employment. We offer you a range of majors or specializations, so you can find that area that you really want to study in. We've got all the modern tech that you're possibly going to want. We've got all of the university facilities that you can find anywhere around the world. We are very close to our local industry providing those opportunities for you. Tanya's going to speak very soon about scholarships that are available. So if that price worried you, there are some great scholarships available that you can potentially get. I'm just going to do a quick check and see if Abia is here. Abia, are you here? Abia, can you speak?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Abia is one of our current students here right now. He's in the second year of his bachelor's degree. And I've asked him to come along and just give you a little talk about some of the great experiences that he's had. So Abia, would you talk about maybe what it's like studying here, what it's like living in Tasmania, and some of the great things that have happened to you recently?
Yeah, I would love to share my experience with everyone. Thank you, Nicole, for giving me the opportunity. So yes, everyone. So I'm Abir. I'm doing my bachelor's in information and communication technology at UTAS, and I'm originally from Bangladesh, and I'm currently in my second year. So yeah, my 1.5 year experience at UTAS has been excellent, excellent. So yeah, Tasmania as a place for study is awesome. Like, it's really, really good. Like, you can get uh, a lot of time for your study. It's so calm. The environment is so beautiful. Like, uh, the mountains and the seas, it makes you feel like you should study. And there are less distractions. I would be honest, there are less distractions compared to Sydney and Melbourne. If you want to study in Tasmania, there are less traffic. You need less time to go back to home or come to uni, so you can study more and more. So that's the good side of Tasmania. And regarding, like, if I talk about my experience at UTAS, I've had a lot of experiences. I have recently I have had the opportunity to attend the Australia's National Cybersecurity Conference at Melbourne. That's called the CyberCon 2025, and all of my funds were sponsored by UTAS. My flights, my accommodation, the registration fee, all of them were worth more than $1,000, and all of them are sponsored by University of Tasmania. And I spent my one of the best 3 days of my life in that conference. And apart from that, I got the opportunity to visit some of the renowned industries in Tasmania. In the ICT industry tour that was also organized by University of Tasmania. And yeah, currently I'm working as a peer mentor and note taker in both roles in University of Tasmania. So University of Tasmania offers like on-campus jobs for the students, so that they can help in their financial aspects. So yeah, and currently I'm doing my 3 months internship at CSIRO. That's the Australia's National Science Agency, and it's also paid. And I'm, as a student of the UTAS, my grades at UTAS, my learning experience at UTAS had a great effect on my selection procedure in the CSRO, the internship program. They asked for my academic transcript and everything, and also references. So yeah, overall, I really feel lucky and grateful that I got the opportunity to study at the University of Tasmania, and hopefully, I'm looking forward to more such experiences in my coming days. And I would obviously mention one thing: a great shout out to our head of school, Nicole Herbert, for organizing all of the new experiences like the industry tours and the conferences. Like, these are the things that the students enjoy and they crave for in their study, and little escapes and practical learnings. And that's all has been done because of Nicole. And that's everything about my experience as a student. Thank you, Nicole, for the opportunity.
Thanks, Abir. So Abir will be here in a few minutes if you want to ask him some questions. I'm now going to hand over to Tanya, who's going to talk to, in particular, our international students about scholarships.
Thanks so much, Nicole and Abir. That was some great information, and it's really good to hear from one of our students as well. So let me just talk to you a little bit about what we have on offer for international students, because I think quite a bit of the information has been focused on domestic students, but Nicole has thankfully put some information in that is specifically relevant to international students, because it is a little bit different. So for international students, you do need to meet certain academic and English language requirements, but we do have English language support for students who don't quite meet our English language requirements, and you can be packaged with either the bachelor or master's degree. We can package that with an English program up to 20 weeks of English. We do have a few scholarships available. There is, most importantly, the Tasmanian International Scholarship, which is a 25% fee reduction on your tuition fees, and that goes for the duration of the course. So each year, your tuition fees would be reduced by 25%. That is a merit-based scholarship, so it is available to students who have achieved a good grade in their previous qualification. We also have the Early Acceptance Scholarship, which is 15%, and that also is offered across the duration of your course, and it is for students who accept their offer by the 15th of December. So that's coming up very soon. And we do package those two scholarships together for a 35% scholarship as well. I think Nicole referred to that earlier. So that's a full 35% off of your tuition fees for the duration of the program. So, so really generous scholarships there. And we do have a couple of other scholarships, such as a family bursary and an alumni bursary as well. And you can have a look at those on our website there. We also have, as Nicole mentioned earlier, we also have very generous post-study work visa opportunities for students who are studying in Tasmania. So just recently, Hobart was brought into line with the rest of Tasmania. So students can get up to 4 years post-study work visa if they have completed a program anywhere in Tasmania. So that means there is the first post-study work visa is 2 years, and then there's an additional 2-year post-study work visa, which equates to 4 years. And that's available to students who've completed either a bachelor degree or a master's degree, and they're living and working in Tasmania. So next slide, please. We do have a range of different ways that you can reach out to us. We have country managers in most of our major countries where we get most of our students from. So we do have country managers there. And you can find their details at utas.edu.au/study/international/contact. Don't worry, I will put that into the chat because it is a very long website. And you can, so you can talk to one of our country managers. You can also reach us by emailing your.study@utas.edu.au. To submit an application, you can do that through our website. We use the StudyLink platform. So if you just go to utas.edu.au/study/apply, again, I'll put this into the chat so that you don't have to memorize it. You'll see there's some instructions there for international students. You can also, Nicole talked about our fees for international students earlier. Hopefully you've taken note of those, but we do have on our course and unit handbook web pages, which I'll also put into the chat. We do have our international student fees there as well. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Nicole and Bea, for all the information you've shared about ICT tonight. It's been very extensive and exciting to hear about all the opportunities that UTAS provides our ICT students. I'm going to talk a little bit about cost and scholarships and application now, and then we will go into our formal Q&A section of the night. If you've had any questions pop up throughout the talk so far, please pop them in the Q&A chat section at the bottom of the screen, and we can try and answer them as we go as well. So something we do get lots of questions about is cost, and rightly so. So for a domestic student, we don't have a total cost of our courses listed just because there is that variance in the elective units and what's covered. If you are seeking some specific information about that, you can reach out and we can try and help you as much as possible with each course and the fees. The Bachelor of Information and Communication Technology is covered under the Commonwealth Supported Place, which means there is a subsidised amount by the government. And we do have the HEX loans, as Nicole was talking about earlier, which help cover the cost of fees. And so what HEX help loans are, if you haven't heard, it's a loan system with the government to help cover the fees. So you don't have to pay your fees up front. You can pay them later on once you're making a substantial wage, and that chips away every year. and scholarships. So we have many scholarships available. These could be academic achievements, about community goals and extracurricular activities. They could be based on sporting endeavours, relocation and accommodation. And these ones I'm talking about are mainly about the domestic students. We had the international from Tanya. And a couple listed on the screen here are specific to ICT. So we have the Information and Communication Technology Support to Study, High Achiever and Honours specific to ICT. And then many more. So I would, if you're interested in looking at scholarships, I would hop on and search through all the ones that are applicable to you specifically. And as long as you're meeting the closing date for a scholarship, you can apply and then see how that one goes. And so next slide, our application system. So with application, and this is specifically for domestic student, it is an online portal system. You need to tell us 3 pieces of information, who you are, what you've studied in the past, and what you'd like to study with us. And then you will wait and receive an offer to your course. If you are planning on enrolling, you accept that offer and then you can enroll when that opens later in the year. If you don't receive the offer you're hoping for, we can arrange pathway options, such as Nicole was talking about earlier, the certificate and diploma pathways that can lead into the bachelor, if that is your goal. And we can help with all those types of situations as you go through your process. And some of the supports that the University of Tasmania offers, we've grouped our supports into 3 areas here. So we have the study support, career guidance, and then our counselling and wellbeing services. These are just some of the main support services that we offer. So with our study support, we have PASS sessions. So these are peer-assisted study sessions for some of our first year and a couple second year units. They are study sessions run by a second or third year student, and they are more informal tutoring sessions that are more collaborative and different to the formal structured classes that you will have. We also have student advisors and learning workshops to help you with referencing or essay writing and all those aspects of university as well. With our career guidance, we have a system through our student portal where you can access the Career Connect, and you can access support looking for applying for jobs, connecting with mentors and networking within the industry. You can also have a look at some volunteering opportunities and support with, say, writing a resume or how to look in for jobs. We also offer a range of counselling and wellbeing services, whether these be specific for your studies or something else personal in your life that's come up. These are confidential and professional counselling sessions for all of our students. And all of this study support is available through our online systems and is very accessible for all of our students. So going on to our Q&A for tonight. So we have had a question in our Q&A box that I might need Nicole to help answer here. So could you please explain how the research pathway works in the master's program and what requirements are needed to be eligible?
Okay, so to do research in our master's course, you need to do really well in the first year of your course. It basically means you need to be getting really top grades, and you also have to do really well at our research methods subject. To demonstrate that you have the potential to do research. Now, I do want to, though, just clarify, because right now our research pathway in the MITS is on hold because we haven't been getting enough students come into the pathway. But most importantly, we haven't, because of the entry conditions into a PhD have substantially changed, the research pathway hasn't been proving to be very effective. So we are currently looking at other ways of enhancing our research pathway to make it a more effective pathway towards a PhD. We will hope to have that sorted out by the time any of you students here are entering the second year of your master's course.
Thank you, Nicole. We might just wait a couple minutes. If anyone has any further questions, please type them in the Q&A section of the Zoom. And we've had Tanya put in our international links as well in the chat. Thank you, Tanya.
While we're waiting for a question to appear, what I might do is just talk a little bit more about why that second post-work visa is so important to ICT students or ICT graduates. The reason why it's so important is that most ICT graduates stay in their first job for 3 years. And so industry's really keen to employ a graduate now because they can stay in the country for 4 years. So they're much more comfortable giving you the post-graduation training that you need, knowing that you are likely to stay for 3 years. So this second post-work visa is actually a game changer in the ICT industry. And for those of you who want to stay just for a little while or even longer, that visa is very, very important consideration and why you should consider studying in a place like Tasmania that has that opportunity.
Thank you, Nicole. We have had another question that I believe Tanya is answering. Or did
Sorry, I
you?
can't. I was just answering it, but I could answer it live if you like. So, Chian Yun has asked, he's currently in a language program and will start his classes in semester 2. He's thinking about paying tuition fees early since he missed out on the early acceptance scholarship. He was wondering if there's any chance he could still get it. Unfortunately, if you have already accepted your offer, and you'll start, I'm sorry, I'm kind of not 100% clear on whether you're actually already here or whether you're about to start your classes. I'd probably need to get you to contact me directly if you could, Xian, so that I can have a look and double check what you have accepted your offer for. If you have accepted your offer early, technically you should get the early acceptance scholarship, but we'll need to double check that, and I would need to have your application ID number. Could you send me an email? I'll put the email address in here. If you could send me an email, I will be able to follow that one up for you, Chen. So if you've already started or you're already going into a foundation or an English language program, then we wouldn't be able to offer you the early acceptance program. But if you haven't actually started, then potentially we would be.
Lovely.
Sorry,
Thank you.
that might have been a confusing answer, but yeah, I just need more information.
Yes, no worries. Okay, we've had another question. If an individual wishes to remain in Tasmania to obtain PR, is information technology and systems included on the Australian Skilled Occupation list?
I'm happy to try this one.
Thanks, Nicole.
I don't know if you can do this, Lily, but if you could just go back to one of those slides where I listed all of the careers. So Naeem and Naeem, the answer is 100% yes. So a few more slides, Lily.
We'll get there.
We're
Is this
almost
for
there.
the masters?
Yeah, either one's fine. That's it. There. Okay. So, Naeem, can you see where I've written next to the title of the job, I've given the ANZ SCO code? Those are the codes that are used to determine what your skill set is. And those are the codes that are used when you're applying for a skilled work visa, which is your pathway to PR. So we've made certain that the career outcomes that we're aiming for in both our masters and our bachelors are ones that will help students who, who want to go back to their home country, or who just want to stay in Australia for a short period of time, or for those who want to stay here permanently. And all of those jobs, as I said before, are in high demand. So Fifan, I can see that your question's there. I think it was 3 weeks ago, on the front page of our Tasmanian newspaper, there was a big article about how the technology industry in Tasmania is growing, and how over the next 5 years we're going to need 11,000 more employees in the technology industry. And as a guide, we are producing less than 400 IT graduates a year. So there is massive demand for IT jobs in Tasmania. I guess what you're hearing when you say it's quite challenging, it is quite challenging for international student graduates to get employment. But that's why I was talking about that visa. That is the game changer. That literally just happened a couple of months ago. So none of our current graduates have had that experience of experience the change that will make to help them get employment. The other thing that I spoke about was the industry engagement that we offer. Tasmania is all about networking. So when Abir spoke, he spoke about all the opportunities he has had, and how he's currently got a CSIRO internship, and how he's also found some other ongoing employment with industry. And he got all of those opportunities because he went to lots of the events that we told students that they should go to, and started networking with business people. If you network and take advantage of those opportunities, you'll find that it's not that hard to get the employment. Abir, would you like to say anything on that about networking?
Yeah, I would obviously love to say that. So, so yeah, a few months ago, I attended one of the TAS ICT Awards dinner, which I got the ticket again sponsored by UTAS. It was for like $200 for the ticket. And I went to that awards dinner, and I met one of the CEOs of a Australian IT company that's called a Rapid Cycle. And I had a like 1 hour conversation with him, and like went really well. And I catch we had a continuing conversation on LinkedIn. Like I got connected with him on LinkedIn, and yeah. And another good part I would like to share, that after this CSIRO 3 months internship, I already have another internship offer waiting for me, which will start on February with that company. And that's only got possible because I attended that awards dinner, and I networked with that CEO of the company. So there was no recruitment, there was no advertisement for the internship, there was nothing. I just talked with people and expressed my interest on AI and all those stuffs, and he is kind enough to offer me an internship to work with them on a real world project that will start in February. So yeah, it's all about networking. So it's a small community. Tasmania is a small community, has a really small community compared to Sydney and Melbourne, all other states. It just all depends on what people you know, how, in what extent you know people, and that's all about, just like Nico said, it's all about networking. Yeah.
And that's what we will help you do. Okay, as you're going through your course, we'll provide you with those opportunities so you can network and you can make those connections.
Lovely. Thank you, Abir, for the insights, and Nicole for answering that question. We'll keep waiting for a couple minutes to see if any further questions come in. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Nicole or Meredith? Whilst we're waiting.
Yeah, the only thing I would encourage you, if you're thinking about coming to Tasmania, to just explore it a little bit more. Abir referred to LinkedIn. I don't know if you know what that is in your countries, but LinkedIn is sort of an industry networking connection thing that we have, and it's very prolific here in Australia, but I do know it's worldwide. You can find myself and Abir and Meredith. We're all on LinkedIn. So if you have questions for us later outside, feel free to connect with us and ask us a question on LinkedIn. I know that there are some of you here today who have already asked me questions on LinkedIn. So, yeah.
Lovely. And I would add, once we send out our recording to everyone's emails who's registered, you have some contact details there as well. If you do have any further questions, you can contact us through those ways, and then we can either direct you to someone else who know more about that area, or help you if that is possible. We have another question. I have received my offer letter with a 35% scholarship of total, and recently submitted all required documents for approval. I noticed that the early scholarship is confirmed only after paying the deposit before December 15th. Can you please clarify if my early scholarship will still be valid once my documents are approved, or do I need to pay the tuition fees deposit before December 15th to secure it?
Sorry, I can answer this one if you like. So yes, we most likely would accept it as long as you've provided all of the documents that you need to provide, and if it's all with us for consideration. But again, I would like to have a look at the application just so I can make sure that we have everything that you need to provide to us and where the application is in the process. So again, if you could email the your.study@utas.edu.au with your application ID number, I can have a look at your case and double check that I'm giving you the correct information.
Thank you, Tanya. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending tonight's webinar. And thank you to Professor Nicole Herbert and all our supporting staff, Tanya Clark, Abir, and Meredith and Charlotte, for all your support with tonight's webinar. Reminder that it will be sent to you in a recording with some information as well. If you do have any questions, please reach out. We love supporting students and helping if we can. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the night. Thank you again. All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.